for the home care industry and for hospice and the rest of the home care industry as a whole, what kind of changes have they had, say, in accounting since COVID?
So, these healthcare providers, kind of in a very broad sense, a lot of them got handed a lot of money. I remember April 10th, 2020, that was the first tranche of Medicare money that went to bank accounts to Medicare certified providers. Mm-hmm. And that was right when we were working on applying for those PPP loans. And I feel like that first round had already closed because if you remember, like all the big companies got those. And so then we're trying to work with small banks to get our small clients funded. And I had a client and I was literally on a Zoom call with my accounting buddies. And so I've got a small group there where we came together and we said, look, and I think this happened a lot in home care too. And I think it brought us all closer together. But the thought was, let's come together and figure this out rather than everybody figuring it out individually. And so I was with my accounting buddies and that's what we were doing. And we were all on a big Zoom call and we were trying to work through these PPP loans and rules and stuff. And in the CARES Act, I feel like it was like 800 or 900 pages long. And the PPP loan was the first 12 pages. Well, we didn't get to the rest because we were stuck there. So I get a text message from a client who's still a client now. And she says, hey, it was like $410,000 or something in her bank account. Hey, I think my PPP loan came in. And I was like, that's not what that is because we hadn't even gotten the loan applications hadn't been processed yet. And so on my other screen, I had an email up and we start seeing emails come in from clients, text messages, and then the forums started lighting up. And I told my accounting friends, I said, guys, I got to go. I don't know what's going on, but some shit's hitting the fan. I got to go figure this out. So I jump off. And so at the very end of the CARES Act was the provider relief funds. And so it was those, grants that were issued. And then it did end up years later trickling down to the states. And then the states rolled out formal grants that you had to apply for. But that very first round, you didn't even apply for it. It just showed up. And like we were just talking off camera, you've got clients still sitting on money because they're scared to spend it because the government's like no strings attached. But then we know that was all a lie because then all the reporting had to be done. But just kind of fast forward.
There's always strings attached to money.
I mean, and I don't remember her name, but she was the secretary of HHS, federal level. Mm-hmm. And she was saying, no strings attached. This is money for you to do what you need to do. And we were all like, yeah, I'm not buying that. And so then when we started reading through it, it's like, oh no, it's got to be for this and that. I remember we did a lot of training with it. And then those reportings are still going on. And so there were reporting periods. So we got that handled, but we've done all this tons and tons of reporting. But I think what's more important and what's more relevant to the conversation here is I saw a lot of different uses. I saw some clients really take advantage of that money, invest it into their business, get themselves out of debt in some cases because they were able to legally do that and cover, because you could cover payroll with it kind of thing, right? So if you're covering payroll, then they could take what they would have paid for payroll and use that cash to pay off lines of credit. That's one I could think of specifically. But then I also saw people take every dime that was given to them, that was offered to them, including like the big SBA loans that you could get, and spent it legitimately. And so they just stretched themselves way too thin. And what we're seeing now, I do feel like there are still a lot of people making good money, but I feel like those that were with us pre-COVID, through COVID, a large portion of those are struggling now because they're still paying COVID prices. They're still paying COVID wages, meaning everything went up, right? Like all of our costs went up. The cost of a nurse went up. That never came back down. So in my hiring, it actually did come down.
Okay.
There was a little bubble bust, and I had my final COVID hire, and she didn't work out. And I think she got a sticker shock when she went back to the market because when all the CPA firms had staffed way up because there was so much work to do with all of that, that then once all that was over, they laid a ton of people off. So our wages have come down a little bit, but your staff, that just meant I could hire new staff at a lower rate, but your existing staff, you can't go take away those raises that you gave them.
No.
And the minimum wage went up and all that. So the costs haven't gone down, and I don't feel like the providers that are struggling, some did as best they could. It was great. But I guess what I'm trying to say is there are still a lot of people that are really struggling now that money is gone, and they're having to learn a new way, because I know I was spending a lot more money during COVID because I had more money. So like I had a business coach. It was a very exorbitant fee, but it was great and I needed it and it worked well. But then once that, I had to get rid of some of those big expenses. And that was 2024 for me. We cut out a lot of things that we had been doing in 22 and stuff.